Hey everyone, so this is History 131, Project Instructions for Public History Engagement and Outreach Plan. So, this video will go over these instructions in detail. As you know, we're going to talk about the projects in class. We're going to have a project workshop in class, and I will be available the entire semester to answer any questions. I strongly suggest that you work on this at least, right around the time we discuss it for the first time in class, which is about a month before it's due, because, you don't want to come at this like the week of. It's not going to work out very well. This is going to take some time, but this is not writing a big paper. This is a different way to do history, so to speak, and you're going to engage with some public history, which is pretty cool, so let's talk about it. Some of the goals of this project are to historically contextualize issues of the past, examine meaningful events and traditions, invite diverse perspectives, and share your work with classmates. So, for this project, you will be promoting historical awareness. In other words, you will be identifying and interrogating reasons for gaps in awareness about historical events. So the first step is going to be anonymously surveying 2 acquaintances. You can do more than 2 if you want, but you need to do at least 2. I would say do no more than 4. But you have to do at least 2 acquaintances about an historical event of their choice that takes place over the course of our semester. So, of your choice. It should be. So, the there is the students. Sorry. So you will anonymously survey 2 acquaintances about an historical event of your choice that takes place over the course of our semester. So that could be the Pueblo Revolt, that could be the War of 1812, it could be anything, but it has to be from our semester's timeline. Okay? So, pre-Columbian North America to 1877. So as you survey your acquaintances, you need to look for and write about any patterns or gaps in awareness during these surveys. So common questions for your survey. This is what you should build your survey off of. You should probably have like 5 or 6 questions for each person. They need to be the same set of questions, right? So you get the best data you can. So some of the questions: are you familiar with events? Pueblo Revolt. What do you know about the War of 1812? If you pick the War of 1812, is there a particular part of the Pueblo Revolt that you recall learning about? And then you'll add 1 or 2 more questions. So I would say, 5 would be good. Probably at least 4. So go with this. I would start with these 3 as your base and then build another question or 2. Don't ask leading questions, right? This is super duper important. So, do you know about how the Pueblo washed off their baptisms after the Pueblo Revolt? Because if you ask a leading question like that, do you know about X? That may pressure the interviewee into saying yes when they are unfamiliar. They may think that's more common knowledge than it actually is, and they may want to sound like they know about stuff. So you need to ask very neutral, non-leading questions. So they need to be giving you information about their knowledge and not trying to reach the bar of your knowledge, basically. So the second step after you've conducted your surveys is going to be to compose an educational outreach plan based on your survey results, to address any gaps or misconceptions, and to convey the relevance and importance of this event. So this is going to be a digital exhibit, basically, that you're going to kind of craft the idea or layout for. You don't have to build an entire digital exhibit. This is more so like a planning stage kind of thing. So, be sure to research and use primary sources. Artifacts, images of them work, and information on them you find online. Museum websites are super duper helpful. You can also call museums if you think that they have something, or, you can call a library if you think they have something, and if you can't find it online. So you'll need to use primary sources, documents, artifacts, things from the event that will help in composing your outreach plan and your digital exhibit. So your outreach plan is going to have multiple steps, and this will be the focus of your presentation and what you submit. So you want to consider the following. What are your outreach plan's goals and objectives? In other words, what does this outreach plan hope to achieve in terms of filling gaps in historical awareness? For example, if, you pick the Pueblo Revolt and no one knows anything about it, then, your plan and your goal and objective might be to give an overview of the Pueblo Revolt in a digital exhibit of some kind. So you want to include common gaps between both interviewees and cause for concern regarding the lack of historical awareness. So anything you feel that, your interviewees reflect that people don't know about, these gaps. And then, why that's a concern. In your presentation of your plan, you'll also want to include, who's your target audience. Consider this when mentioning your digital exhibit's structure also. How will a digital exhibit help bring this information to a wider audience? If your target audience is college-age kids, right, like young adults and, those types of folks, then, maybe your digital exhibit has, certain features, like you can put an app on your phone as you go through the exhibit and do like zoom ins on things or something like that. So consider who your audience is. And if your audience is more of a wider range of people of different ages, consider that in your exhibit's structure. You might want to have a more traditional exhibit with some other technical elements. So, and also you'll want to explain how a digital exhibit will help bring this information to a wider audience. In your plan and its presentation, you'll want to include what types of activities and materials will be needed or used as a part of your outreach plan. So how does this relate to your digital exhibit? For example, are there letters from part of the event you wish to highlight? Can copies of those be included in your digital exhibit then? So that is something you want to think about. You will present your outreach plan and your exhibit ideas to the class. Your presentation will last approximately 5 to 7 minutes as you pitch your outreach plan, its purpose, the reason it is needed, again, think about those gaps, and your ideas for the digital exhibit. Okay, so those are all the elements that go into your presentation. Classmates will provide feedback on the outreach plan and digital exhibit at the end of your presentation. Your classmates will need to think about how this plan and exhibit address gaps in historical awareness. They're going to basically be thinking about, your project needs to answer this question with a yes. Do the plan and exhibit fill in those gaps and promote historical awareness of the event in question? And I've included some links here to digital exhibits that you can check out because some of you may not be familiar with digital exhibits. So click on those and you'll get to see what digital exhibits and digital history projects look like. So that will hopefully help in putting together your outreach plan and your ideas for your digital exhibit, all of which you will submit and present when we have presentations, and when the project is due, you'll submit the plan and presentation before that. All right, so hopefully, talking it through helps. If you have any questions after watching this video, please feel free to reach out and contact me. I'm happy to answer questions. We will be discussing these also in the semester, and like about a month before they're due, we're going to have a workshop. So before the workshop, hopefully everyone will have done research regardless on what project the option they're choosing. And then during our workshop, you'll come in and you'll have some stuff that you're already working on, and you can ask me questions and we can talk about it. And kind of work on it. So that's it for the public history engagement and outreach plan. If you have any questions at all, please be sure to reach out and I'll be happy to answer anything to the best of my ability and provide clarity wherever I can.